Hello, Luana Ribeira. Welcome to Savvy Broadcasting Life Unscripted. We're so grateful to have you here today. You're going to talk about how to grow your business, make money, and be a very successful entrepreneur, and more importantly, how to get noticed amongst all this noise. In the world of entrepreneurship now, a lot of it's online, and how do you get noticed amongst all of these websites and businesses? Well, you're going to help people with that. But before we go there, share with our audience a little bit about your backstory.
Christina, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're on.
My backstory is a little bit crazy, actually. I'm from the UK. I'm currently living in Portugal, where I'm setting up an animal sanctuary. And a couple of years ago, I was running an acting academy, and I was working as a business coach, helping people to create freedom in their businesses. And I was involved in a crazy media storm. Now, this happened because I was doing an interview around my acting, around the film that was coming out. But the story that went out actually ended up being about my personal life. To be more specific, around my marriage and around my husband transitioning to be female. That's what happened. And over the course of 6 months, it was crazy. He was undergoing transition, hormones a lot, everything, whole life change, a whole load of craziness for the family, and media everywhere. It went absolutely crazy. And 6 months in, I had the shock of my life when my husband said, "Hey, I'm not going to carry on with the transition." Now, he had his reasons, and I won't even start going into that because that's his story. But from my end, it was confusing as hell. So I did what any normal human being would do. I ran off to Portugal to live in a ditch.
Ah la la. Wow.
Now,
that is a crazy outcome there. Now, tell me, when the media, now this is one thing, and I've been told this, when I stepped into doing broadcasting, I would have some people say, "I hate talking to media. I'm not media. I'm not the news. I'm not going to twist anything people say. That's not what I do. I just have, like myself, we share our wisdom with the world and we all grow." But what's interesting is I've seen, and this is the reason I don't like tuning into a lot of media online, is that they kind of take things out of context and make things explosive in a not positive way. How did you deal with the negativity that came from the media? And did you turn it around and make it positive?
Yes. See, this is a thing that really scares people. But the thing is, okay, for any business will get media. Now, people can either work with that and work with the media, or they can try and work against it. And that is what will have worse results because, okay, so when I ran off and I refused to talk to people, that is when I stopped, because I was so confused, that's when the media, things got a little twisted because I wasn't saying I wasn't talking to people, so people were making their own minds about what happened. So the best thing to do for anybody who's involved in a media storm is to keep the communication, is not to run away, not to do what I did. That is not ideal. Now, it worked out great for me because I had that time to reflect, and while I was there living in this ditch with a polytunnel over me, I wrote a best-selling book. And that's when everything changed, and that's when I really started realizing how to work alongside the media and not to be afraid of it and not to work against it, and that's why.
It seems to me, Luana, that you were dealing with it just differently. You weren't just coming out and speaking on the TV or the news, but you went to a quiet space and wrote the book to deal with the assault. So it's not like you just ran away to the moon and said, "I'll never deal with the accusations and whatever." You actually dealt with it differently. Now, tell us the name of your best-selling book.
The book that I wrote back then was Passion to Freedom. So I wrote that because when I came from the UK, I left behind an acting academy, and it carried on running by my team. And I thought, well, this is great. I'm living in another country. I'm setting up an animal sanctuary. And my business is doing just great. It was out of choice, by the way, that I was living in this ditch, because that was the start of the animal sanctuary. I did have my business that was still running there, but I wanted to be in the middle of nowhere, and I wanted, that's what I needed at the time. But it was a crazy double life as well, because my book went to bestseller. I got all of these media opportunities. I was on stage all over the world. So it was almost like I was leading a double life. I'd be jetting off, staying in fancy hotels, coming back in the mud. It was crazy. And I wouldn't change it for the world. Did I answer your question then? I think I drifted away.
No, you absolutely did answer my question. And what's great, now talk to us about business owners who are thinking, I'm really not making an impact. I really can't get my message out there. How do they really begin to get their message and get the attention so that they stand out?
Okay, so writing a book is extremely powerful. Mm-hmm. A book, there's so much I could say about this, and it's, apart from the obvious things like making more money, attracting more clients, opening up opportunities, it's a massive transformational process. If you write a book, you are going to up level in every way. Mm-hmm. And that's the truth of it. Now, when I've got a very specific system with writing books, I do not focus on book sales. Mm-hmm. People ask me how many sales have we made on your book. I don't know. It's not what I focus on. I give my books away free. Mm-hmm. I use them as part of my funnel. I'll give them away to people. If there's somebody, say a high level potential client that I want to work with, I'll send them a copy of my book. Mm-hmm. That way, the thing is, they will then get immersed into your world. If they finish that book, there's a big chance that they're going to want to carry on working with you.
Yeah. And what's awesome about it, Luana, is that they're really, 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 it's like deeper than a business calling card, because now it's almost like a one-on-one you had with the potential client.
Exactly. And you're not even there. You could be asleep or on the beach sipping cocktails, and you're there changing somebody's life. I will never, ever forget a message I got into my inbox that said that somebody was on the verge of suicide, and now they're not. Now they've got hope. Wow. Now, I don't know, that person didn't carry on working with me. I didn't keep in contact, unfortunately. I don't know what this person's doing now. But I just remember being absolutely blown away by that comment. Yeah. Because I woke up to that, and it was somebody in Australia. So I was thinking, okay, while I was asleep, this person was having a life-changing moment. Wow.
And I'm really pulling from you, Luana, is that we can all make an impact in other people's lives. And the world is smaller and smaller, where we're really so much more connected. And I really, truly feel, and that's part of the reason I do the show, is that everyone has not only a story, but has great gifts and wisdom that they can pass on to others, that others can gain from and glean from.
Absolutely. And this is the thing. People are so full of self-doubt and fear. And this is a big thing that I focus on, because in my book programs, it's not just about writing the book. It's about becoming the person that you need to be to get that book written before anything else. And that's the start of something I call the impact system. It starts with the internal work. It starts with becoming that person and believing in yourself and realizing that you've got a gift. Because the thing is, our gifts, we tend to take them for granted because it comes so naturally to us that sometimes we don't realize that other people just don't have a clue. Like for media, for example, I assumed that everyone knew how to get into the media, but it's been quite a wake-up call that people just don't. Yeah. So, but I guess it's just because of my acting background and everything. It's just something that I've always done. And, the process I use, I have no idea if it's the process other people use, but it works for me and it works for my clients.
Yeah. And that's the thing. What worked for one person may not work for another. That's why there's so many different people who can coach and mentor, because one mentor is not great for another, but it doesn't mean there's not one out there that you can glean from and learn from. And in fact, I think coaches are awesome. Because
absolutely.
Oh my God, I got a coach, and what was great about it, not only accountability, but I saw someone in a place to where I wanted to be, and she'd been there 12 years kicking butt in business, and I was like, I want to be where you're at.
Yes.
So it was great to work with someone like that, and at the same time go like, I'm not where you're at, but I can learn from you and build.
That's it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you know what? I don't do anything without a coach, because I'd rather get there, know that I'm doing it right, and have that guidance and support than spend 10 years trying to figure it out for myself, which is going to cost me a hell of a lot more in the long run.
See, that's what people don't understand. They say, well, that coach is so expensive. It was like $5,000, $10,000. But how much would it cost you? Because they say to learn something, a master is 10,000 hours. So 10,000 hours worth of time, or you pay $5,000 to $10,000 of cash. I'd rather do it today, learn what I have to learn, and spend the cash than spend the time. Because their time is limited to make more cash.
Exactly. That is it. Yeah, you've nailed it there. We can always make more money. We cannot buy more time. Time's the most precious thing that we can ever have.
Absolutely. What have you seen working with your clients as some of the kind of missteps they've made with trying to get noticed? Like people say, oh, I'm doing everything. I'm on all the social media and I'm not getting noticed. What do you find as some of the missteps?
Well, if somebody says that they've done everything, they clearly haven't, or they'd have cracked it. So that's the first thing that comes to my mind. But generally, I find that they're not getting in front of the right audience. So they might be on social media shouting about what they're doing, but they're not calling in the right audience. And the main mistake that people make, this goes for, whether they're posting on social media, in a TV interview, or in their book, is that they're not truly being themselves. Is that they're saying some regurgitated stuff that they think people want to hear, but it's not really them. It's not really their calling. Yeah. That is also why it's so important to me to have the internal work before anything else. I've had countless clients start with me, and then within a week or within a day, in the one person I'm thinking about, just said, I'm not doing the right thing. And they've made a complete switch in their direction because they've realised that they're not actually living their truth, that they're living in a way that they think they should.
Or mediocrity. Yeah. Yeah. What I love, Luana, for me, a couple of years, I was moving forward, but very slow. And my husband kept saying, I see something bigger for you. You have to explode bigger. I said, I don't know. And I kept resisting. And I've heard this said, what you're resisting is where your success is. And this year, and what I did this year is what you did, sort of. I didn't go to another country, but I kind of just totally took a hiatus, went within, did a lot of self-reflection, and realized I need to play bigger. And doing that, starting now, coming back, I feel more rejuvenated and alive, and it's just amazing. But it's that taking that step back and realizing that what I was doing before, I knew what to do really, but I was scared. And you're resisting because you're scared of the growth, I think, or that's how I felt.
That's it. 100%, and that's when the stories come in, isn't it? This is actually something I've been ranting about all week, because people tend to run towards the goal. They run towards what they want, and then they see that finish line, and then they scream and they run away from it. What's going on? You're going in the wrong direction. Come back. That's what we all do, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And
it's crazy.
You're like, no!
Let's stop this madness. But we all do it. I do it, you do it, and you did it, and now you're absolutely killing it.
Yeah.
And you've got such an amazing energy, I have to say. I love it.
Thank you. I love your energy too. We're doing fabulous together. We could go on for hours.
We really could.
I don't want us to leave here without people finding out how they can work with you, get your awesome new book, tell them about your new book, and how can they work with you?
Oh, right. I have to say I'm completely in love with my new book. It's called Influencer Game of Phones. It's a look at how you can build your own online kingdom. And there's a lot of talk on Game of Thrones, which has been translated into the book, about creating kingdoms and tribes and all of that kind of thing. It's actually a trilogy. This one's the first in the series, which is focused all around the internal work. And it's coming in October, and I'm so, so excited.
Oh, that's awesome. And this will air in November, so this is perfect. So everyone can
brilliant.
Get your book immediately. How can they get the book?
It's out now! LuanaRibeira.com. Go there now!
No! Make your book a reality, everyone. Spell your name.
Luana and Ribeira, Ribeira. I actually chose it myself. I changed my name. When I had my transformation, I changed my full name.
It's beautiful. What does Ribeira mean? What does it mean? And Luana.
Luana means lion in Albanian. But I didn't know that until recently, so I'm really happy about that. And Ribeira almost means river in Portugal. River is Ribeiro.
Wow, a lion river. I love it. Woo!
Yeah!
Well, everyone, go out there and create your own reality and your own dreams out there and make it a reality. And thank you, Luana, for coming to Savvy Broadcasting and sharing your great wisdom today.
Thank you. You are awesome. Thanks a lot. Really happy to be here.
Awesome. If you like this episode, please share. To hear more Savvy episodes and Savvy Biz tips, go to lifeunscriptedradio.com. To become a guest or participate in paid sponsorship, email us at Christina@lifeunscriptedradio.com.